Hey guys, so I am up in Decatur, Alabama, which is just a little bit north of where we live, down in Hartselle. And the reason I'm here, I'm waiting for my parents to arrive. We are eating out tonight. Mr. Smith and I are taking them out to dinner because it is their 50th wedding anniversary. And so we wanted to treat them to dinner because over the years they have treated us to dinner many times. My dad is always being very sneaky and taking the bill. So we got there early and I let the waitress know if he tries to pay it, he's not allowed to, and she's supposed to give the bill to me for dinner tonight. So we will see them shortly. But I came out here because Main Street, well, the road up there in front of the restaurant is closed off. They have a street festival kind of thing that happens every third Friday, and it's the last one of the year. And so we're parked behind the restaurant. And I wasn't sure if they would be able to actually see the restaurant when they pulled in, so, because the back entrance is kind of tucked away in the corner. And so I think I see them. Nope, that's not them. So I came out here to meet them. That way they would see me and know where to park and be able to find the restaurant. We are going for a little walk in the woods, checking on tree stands. I was actually up in mine the other day, making sure it was still solid and all that. That one's good to go. So now we're heading back in here to check the other one, Mr. Smith's tree stand, and make sure it's still solid and ready for hunting season. That's why I don't like that tree stand. The rail falls down on your head every time.
Yep.
Here it comes.
I know, that's why I turned this way.
So his tree stand out here is a one-man tree stand, and it feels a little claustrophobic. So I like using my tree stand that is up on the other side, which is actually a two-man tree stand, which gives you a little more room to move around and maneuver in. So I like that one a little bit better.
Actually, this goes a little good. It's gonna break. So it's gonna break pretty soon. Loosen it up and try to turn it.
That's one of the trees that it was nailed to. So we've got to cut that. because I tried to do it too, and then I realized it was attached. And then the whole fence down there, one of the wires is completely snapped and laying on the ground where that other tree fell on it and pulled it loose.
Well, we'll just get that claw
Yeah.
thing out here and pry it loose.
Yeah, I know. Hi, babies. What you doing? Hmm? Hello. Hi, Jumper. Hey guys, so I thought I would come out here and do a little bit of a garden tour. So this is the big garden out here. Last week, Mr. Smith and I came out here and did some major cleaning out. We pulled out all of the dead sunflowers, all of the weeds that had grown up, and just really cleaned it out. Now there is a lot of things that we left in place, even though they're kind of at the end of the season and maybe not looking fantastic. Like the roselle here. It's not flowering anymore, but we do have all of these pods. And I just kind of left them because, first of all, there's seeds in there, and I loved this roselle, how well it grew. And so I'm going to harvest some of the seeds out of there, but also it just adds some cheerful color into the garden. I mean, they're red and lovely, and from a distance they kind of look like flowers. Over here on this side we've got some Tabasco peppers back there, and then right here you can see my sweet potatoes, and I've noticed that the vines are starting to get yellow, starting to look like they're wrapping up, which means it's going to be time to harvest these sweet potatoes. And you can actually kind of see some sticking up out of the ground down there. So it is definitely time. We've got some sad marigolds. But Mr. Smith found something. Check that out. We've got another watermelon. Probably doesn't have enough time to grow, but it was kind of neat seeing it there. The zinnias are mostly dying off. They're still producing a little bit of color, so I didn't pull them all out yet because there are still some butterflies and bees hanging around. And so I've been leaving these in place for them. This roselle plant over here is actually still producing flowers. They really only open in the morning. But you can see some blossoms down on there. And it's amazing to me how many more flowers these roselle plants created as opposed to the ones that were in the very rich, healthy raised beds. So I need to do a little bit of reading, but I'm thinking because of the difference between these roselles and the ones that are out front in the raised bed, I think that roselles are one of those kinds of plants that don't like as much nitrogen, don't like as fertile soil. I think they do better in just plain old dirt, because these ones did amazing. You can see our pepper bed still has peppers galore. Honestly, at this point, we're just kind of leaving them be. We have harvested so many peppers. I've made salsa and pickled peppers and fermented peppers and dried peppers that at this point I just don't need any more peppers. So I'm just gonna kind of leave this be, and we'll just pull this all out and compost it. I might try just a few more. We got some cayennes down in there, so I might grab those and dry those as well. But we are peppered out. So this raised bed here, this one was my tomatoes out here in the big garden, and we cleared this all out and planted cabbage. I have 4 red cabbages and I have 4 Savoy cabbages that I've planted. They're doing very well out here. And then over here is my pumpkin plants, my pumpkin vines. Now this one here is not doing great. We've got a bit of a blight thing happening. It looks like that powdery mildew, so I might need to come out here and spray this and see if we can't help it along. But these plants down here are looking a little bit better, and we do have baby pumpkins, and we've got a few of them. There's one back there, so there's a few of them coming along. Got some more down here, right there. Got another tiny one right there. And we've got cats in the compost. I'd say they're after some mice. There is another watermelon. There's one there, and there's another one down there. But again, I don't think that these are going to have enough time to actually develop and ripen and all that good stuff, because we are looking at an hourglass that is running out. We've only got a very short time left before our average first frost of the year. So a lot of this stuff, while it's already looking sad, will be dead and gone before too long. My cabbages and things like that, I've got some covers that I'll come out here and put over them to help them through the colder temps. But they're more hardy in colder temps anyways, but I still cover them up. But then things like these cosmos right here, I know they'll be done for. So let's walk out to the front garden. Hi, what are you doing? Alright, so out here in the front garden, this is my big long bed, and just look at how full this is. That's just amazing to me. You can see where the holy basil had hung down and self-seeded on the ground there, so I've got all of that Tulsi holy basil growing on its own. I just kind of left it. Even though I came out here and mowed, I just kind of let that be. There's more of the Tulsi basil growing up here. Again, it's self-seeded. I've got one of my little brassicas right here that is coming up. Not quite sure. If you saw in that video I did last time I walked through the garden, my trays labels all got messed up, and so because the brassicas all kind of look a lot alike, I don't know what those are. So it's just going to be a fun little game of what are we growing. These zinnias over here, these were the Queen Lime zinnias. I've still got a few new blossoms, but I think I'm going to go ahead and pull these out. Go ahead and clear that space out so I can stick some other things in there. I've got more of those lovely Persian carpet zinnias. Now these are a smaller blossom, but I really fell in love with the autumn colors and the variation that you see with the different patterns and all of that. They won me over. I've got some sunflowers up here that look like they're getting ready to flower before too long. We've got nice buds happening there, all down through here. Let's see, we've got some more Tulsi. Down here we've got the Greek oregano and marjoram, more Tulsi, and then I have some of the other zinnias that I planted. I believe these are the State Fair mixed color ones. We've got some Genovese basil. Planted a good bit of that because I'd like to dry some for winter. The beautiful pineapple sage. Now we've got another brassica down in here, and because this one's getting so tall and has such a stalk on it, I'm thinking that might be one of the Brussels sprouts. I planted cauliflower, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and traditional green cabbage. And like I said, they got all mixed up, but I'm thinking that one's a Brussels sprout because it is getting very tall as opposed to the others, which are looking much more cabbage-like, like this one right here and this one over here. All right, of course, as you know, we have got loofah gourds galore absolutely everywhere in here. Oh, there's another smaller one. Oh no, I've seen that one before. So I have a few of them that were starting to soften, and you can kind of feel where the skin is sort of separating from the fleshy inside because there's some give and wiggle. So those ones will be the first ones I will be able to peel and harvest and all that good stuff. And goodness knows I have enough of them. Alright, so down here on the end I've got some garden sage, and I've got thyme, lots of thyme. I planted a couple more little zinnias. So when I pull out these queen limes, there'll still be plenty of color out here in the garden. So I really loved the color on these zinnias. Now we planted several different kinds of zinnias this year. We planted the mazurkias, I planted the Persian carpets, those small fall colored ones over there, and then I planted the queen lime zinnias. I also planted the cut and come again and some cactus type ones, and I really think the mazurkias, the queen limes, and the Persian carpets were my favorites of all of the zinnias. However, I have some zinnias that came up, and I'm fairly certain this was from the State Fair multicolored packet. These zinnias right here are astounding. They're like the mazurkias with the ticking on the ends of the petals, but they look like fire. I mean, they are gorgeous. So I will definitely be keeping some of the seeds from these zinnias. And I don't know if the color will show up as well on camera as it does in person, because reds have a tendency to blow out the sensors on cameras. But I'm hoping you can see how amazing these are. Look at that. I don't think the color will show up as intensely on camera as it is in person, but these things just look like they are on fire. So, like I said, I will be saving some of the seeds. They remind me a lot of these mazurkias up here. I love these. So that kind of variation in the fiery red and orange is pretty cool. The cabbage plants out here are doing very well. We've got little heads forming down in there. Over here, I've got a couple tucked down in there. We've got some cosmos right here that are forming buds. Got another cabbage down in there, got another one back in there. So while it is the fall garden and I know that time is limited for it, I'm enjoying how much life there is still out here. We've got the beautiful little delicate magnolia tendril peas and their lovely blossoms. I mean, how cheerful are these? And then just this morning, as I was doing chores, I spotted this. I found a sunflower. It's just a little one, and it is surrounded by Persian carpet zinnias. But I mean, just look at how cheerful that is. So when I originally bought all of my fall garden seeds, all the root vegetables and stuff, I was thinking I would have a lot more garden space available for them than I actually do. So in the spaces that I can find, I am just going to plant a little bit of everything, a little bit of each of the carrots, a few of the beets, and basically just use this garden as my taste test to see what I think of the golden beets and what we think of the different varieties of carrots. And then next year I plan on building more raised beds for the garden, and then I'll have a little more room, because the in-ground garden out there, like I said, it didn't do great, and so I'm not really going to be reusing that for the fall garden. There might be some spots where I could stick a couple of things, but I'm really moving more towards the raised beds because they just seem to be so much more successful. Hibiscus flowers, roselles aside. So that is it for today. I hope you enjoy this little walk through the garden. I will try and do this on a regular basis as long as I can, so that you can see how things are coming along. So tomorrow I'm actually going out of town once again. I'm going on another trip. This is just a short one. But this will be something that I share a little bit down the road in November. So I won't be sharing my trip on video quite yet, but I think you'll enjoy it. I think it'll be pretty cool. So that is it. My name is Constance. This is A Good Life Farm, and I will talk to y'all next time.